Hey, what's up you guys? It's Jack, aka Summoner6, and I have another special YouTube video for you. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at a clip from my stream where I'm talking about Riot's balance choices. What I mainly get into in the video is Riot's balancing choices of their agents in Valorant, and whether or not they have a control variable for that. Since this clip is from my stream, it's pretty much unedited. I just cut out parts that would have revealed personal information, and I hope you guys like it. But before we get into the video, make sure to smash the like button down below, turn that thing blue for the YouTube algorithm. Also make sure to subscribe to see more videos like this, and make sure you turn on your notifications. And with that, let's get into the video. So it's actually really weird. Riot's buffing and nerfing philosophy. I'm actually going to get into this probably also in a YouTube video, but basically one of the things that I've noticed in League and in Valorant is that they don't leave a control variable, basically, for their balancing. Like, for example, understand what the unit is going to do and what their signature ability is, and keep that relatively the same, and then tweak other things around it that give them an advantage in a way that they don't understand. So, like, let's use Valorant for an example. We can actually use Sentinels as an example. Sentinels are supposed to be really, really good at anchoring a site and really, really good on defense. And they're supposed to make you think twice about engaging onto a site if they're the one defending it. Which is why double Sentinel meta was really, really bad. So you want to make sure that that in an extreme scenario where you pick all three Sentinels, that they're just not winning 12-0 rounds on defense and then just need to win the one round on offense. Like, the average of that, if you do that on like Haven, for example, or even if you just do it on a two-site map, it should actually be worse or harder for the attackers to get in. Because, like, let's say you're doing it on split, right? You have a Sentinel mid, probably Sage. You have a Cypher B site, and then a Killjoy A site, or vice versa. Like, that should be really hard to do. But it should be even harder for them on offense. So the thing that I was surprised by is that instead of buffing duelists and initiators, they nerfed Sentinels. So instead of buffing offense, they're trying to nerf defense. And I don't know how that goes. So, like, the reason why Cypher and Killjoy are still so good on offense is because they can cover the flank, which is, I guess, what they want to remove. Is that, but it also inadvertently hurts their defense too. Whereas if you buff a duelist, it only really benefits their ability to solo a site, which they're not normally doing if they have a Sentinel on their team, or to entry frag. Which, if you're really good, so what that means is that if you're pub stomping, right? If you're pub stomping in a game and you play a duelist, you should be able to just solo carry that game. If they did do something like that, where they buff duelists to that extent. But that's not always the case. So yeah, I guess that's what they're worried about. But I think that's such a niche edge case. The other thing I guess they're worried about is that the game has had 4 duelists for the longest amount of time. And if you run 4 duelists and now Skye, for example, because you can heal all of them as Skye, you have a really fucking good attack. And if they're buffed, they're going to be better at holding sites. So they're going to be inherently just because the way that a duelist kit is made is it's selfish. It doesn't really help the team. The only ones that help the team are Reyna's Leer and Phoenix's Flash, and then occasionally his Blaze Wall. But normally, actually, I've found out that my allies damage themselves in my own wall for literally no reason because they want to push through it, even though I can do it. But yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I guess instead their philosophy is about. So what I was trying to get at is they don't have a control variable to nerf against. So, like, they don't have an agent who is their average and then build around that average new and interesting things. And they should have something like that. They should have something like they don't have to release it as an agent, but they should have internally a basic Sentinel that should just be called Sentinel. And here's what we expect out of a Sentinel. A Sentinel has some sort of vision control or some sort of control element. They have some sort of element that makes it feel like there's more than one person on the site. So, for example, for Killjoy, that's Killjoy's turret. For Cypher, that's Cypher's camera, so that he has double sight. Killjoy has double damage. And for Sage, she doesn't have that. She has a wall, which is a stall ability. So she's what they've defined as the stalling Sentinel, which is the way that we make the other character appear on site is it's actually one of your teammates, and you're going to stall and wait for them. You're going to be able to stall for that person. An ultimate that benefits the team, either for information or that feeling of another person. And Killjoy ultimate feels like another person. It acts as an entry, or it acts as a retake for sites. That's it, and it's the most optimal way of being used. When people pre-use it or use it early, the only time that is good is late in a round. If they do it early, it kind of kerfuffles its optimization and its use. Sage actually reses someone to give you that extra person, and Cypher gives you information. He gives you total information about where everybody is on the map for 1 second, and also the direction that they're heading, which can be faked, but still good, solid information. So yeah, I'm very surprised. Like, I don't know, I guess they seemed balanced before. So like, one of the inadvertent things is that Cypher can help out somebody on a different site that he's not even on, and he can play a different site as another body. And then what you can do is you can set up Cypher stuff on an empty site, have his cam, tripwires, and smokes, and one smoke act as a whole person for stalling purposes. And then he can stack up at another site. So you could stack 5 to a site and one person, or you could stack 3 to a site, 2 people mid, and one and no one on one site. And you have free rotates to one side. And I think that's the kind of style that they want to get rid of. But if they want to do that, then everything should be, you have to be within 40 meters of it for it to be active, like Killjoy. Except for maybe Cypher's cam, for instance. But I don't know. It's really weird. Like, if you want a Sentinel to have to stay on site, because that's what it seems like they want, and act as an anchor, like they're meant to be anchor agents. So you need to think about what is the average anchor need that would give them a step above. Like, for example, what you should do as Riot in order to do balancing is you should have an agent called agent in your backend that is literally just the most basic abilities you can think of. And generally speaking, what that's going to be is that's going to be CSGO. Is, okay, you're not going to have anything unique. It's going to be, your ultimate is going to be a one-shot kill. So like Raise Rocket, for instance. You're going to have a molly. You're going to have 2 smokes, and you're going to have a flash as your utility. That's it. Now you need to iterate from there. Okay, so if you're an entry, what specifically are you going to need? And they've identified like flashes and dashes. Okay, I can have something that dashes me a distance, that throws off people's crosshairs, and enables me to potentially get a pick if I have information beforehand, or if I make a good guess. And I have flashes to clear out areas and enter sites. Seems legit. And then everything else can be built around that. You know, as an initiator, you could also have mollies or frag grenades, and such. But yeah, it's weird. So like if you had an average agent, what they would have is frag grenades, Molotovs, flashes, and smokes, and they'd have like one of each basically. If you were building like a basic agent, and then a Sentinel and a initiator and a duelist and a controller need to iterate off of those, whatever those strengths are, and also new and interesting things that go along with it. So like as a controller, you're all about controlling. Smokes makes sense. Controllers have smokes. They control vision on a map. They control areas on a map. They're area control. The other thing I think they would have is mollies. In this case, 2 of them do, and one of them has a flash instead. Which is why people are considering Omen as more of an entry fragger and duelist instead. Hello. Yeah, basically what I was saying about Riot's balance is that it's apparent that they lack like a control that they're basing their changes off of. And they do this in League too, where they don't have like a basic idea of what an AD carry is supposed to be, right? Or in the case of Valorant, like what is the baseline of a duelist? Or what is the baseline of a Sentinel, and then build off from there. They just sort of kind of tweak things that seem like they don't want a certain aspect of the character to work anymore. So like, for example, they don't want Killjoy to be able to cover flanks, but Cypher still can. It's just that if he dies, then he no longer gives that ability. And if he dies, he can no longer anchor a site. But they kind of choose those, it seems, arbitrarily. That's kind of what I was ranting about for like 5 minutes. I don't know how long people have been in chat. And that closes off the video. So that's what I talked about on my stream. And what I really want to know is, what do you guys think about Riot's balance choices? Please leave a comment down below saying what you think. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay 6y.